So next, we're going to talk about how you protect your infrastructure and your data from different cyber threats that exist. And there are several services that support this for us on AWS. And first, we're going to be looking at AWS Shield, which is a managed distributed denial of service protection service for apps on AWS. Now, trust me, that's a big term, I get that. In just a minute, we'll go through a definition of what that means. Next, we're going to be looking at Amazon Macie, which is a data protection service that is powered by machine learning. And so it enables us to watch things that we maybe couldn't watch if we were looking at manual processes. And then we'll be looking at Amazon Inspector, which is an automated security assessment service for EC2 instances. So before we dive into these, let's first give a definition to that term I mentioned earlier, and that is distributed denial of service, or DDoS. And what this is this is a type of attack where a server or group of servers are flooded with more traffic than they can handle in a coordinated effort to bring the system down. And in the time that we live in, this is something that can happen. And so if you want to have protection against this, AWS has provided a service that makes that available. And that service is called AWS Shield. And it does provide the protection against the DDoS attacks for your custom applications that are running on AWS. And it enables ongoing threat detection and mitigation. So it's not one of those things you simply turn on when you need it. It's something that you keep running, and it can create a scenario where it knows when a DDoS attack is happening. Now, there are two different service levels for this service. We have AWS Shield Standard, and then we have AWS Shield Advanced. So depending on what your needs are, you might choose a different service level for this particular service. Then we have Amazon Macie. And this utilizes machine learning to analyze the data that we have stored within Amazon S3. Now, one of the big benefits of this service is without us having to classify the data, it can detect personal information and intellectual property that is stored within S3. Many organizations worry that the information they have stored somewhere in the cloud can leak out, and this service is designed to continually watch and categorize data to make sure that that doesn't happen. It does provide a level of dashboards to show how your data is being stored and accessed, and it can provide alerts for you if it detects anything unusual about data access. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the type of detection that we probably couldn't do if we were monitoring manually, but it can use machine learning to do anomaly detection and find out when there is a strange pattern of how our data is being accessed. Then, third, we have Amazon Inspector. And what this does is it enables scanning of our Amazon EC2 instances for security vulnerabilities. So if we want to be sure that we are keeping our instances up to date, we're being sure that they're patched for any critical vulnerabilities that have been released in the community, if we want to be sure that we're following best practices, here we can utilize Amazon Inspector and run those in an on-demand manner. Here you are charged per instance per assessment run. So if you choose to run an assessment across 10 of your instances, you would be charged accordingly. Now, there are two types of rules packages that are included with Amazon Inspector. The first is a network reachability assessment. This is where we want to understand what is available to the internet from our servers. And then we have host assessment. And this is what is going to check our EC2 instances to make sure that they have been patched for critical vulnerabilities and make sure that no common configuration errors have been made within the server.